Dr. Vikram Sandhu is Professor, University Business School, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. He has more than 22 years of teaching experience and 2 years of industry experience. He has published more than 100 research papers. He has presented more than 150 research papers. He has guided many PhD research scholars. He is coordinator of UNESCO sponsored project for marketing handicrafted utensils. He is member of UGC SAP Advisory Committee. He is member of committee made by GNDU for solid and liquid management under Swachh Bharat mission. He is also working for open and distance learning programs. He has coordinated various UGC sponsored workshops, management fests, academic industry linkage events. He is also a recipient of Best Researcher and Best Teacher awards. Sir, with your experience in the environment sector and sustainability, you are, I think, an apt expert for today's session. We are privileged to have you with us today. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, sir. Now, I request our resource person, Dr. Vikram Sandhu, to start your presentation on the topic Awareness of Sustainable Development Goals. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a nice introduction. Before I speak, let me confirm that whether I'm audible and visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
So, as
सर थोड़ी सी वॉइस ज्यादा कर लेंगे थोड़ी सी.
I'll move more to closer to the mic.
हाँ अब better है sir. Thank you.
Okay, right. So as I have with you in the previous session, also in the earlier sessions also, I have talked about that sustainability is that area which is very near to my heart. And whatever the research I have done till now, I have almost now 130 to 140 papers. And mostly the papers, they are related with the sustainability aspect in one way or the other, because it is the need of the hour. This is the responsibility that we should not ignore this concept anymore. Otherwise, it is going to be some kind of injustice towards the planet, towards the environment, and towards, of course, to our community also. Let me check that whether my slides are visible. So I was there in your previous session also, and there I was listening to the resource person. I suppose he has also talked about the sustainable development goals, I suppose.
Yes, sir. He was also talking about sustainable development goals, giving examples from across the world.
Then what I think that mostly the things will be overlapping.
No, I don't think so, sir. Every person's type of expression is always the different one.
Let's see. It becomes altogether more challenging for me that how I can differentiate from that resource person, because the topic is almost same. And let's see how I am able to justify my session with you people. So I will be talking about. Are the slides visible?
Yes, sir. They are visible now.
The topic I was given by the coordinator, and I am very thankful to the coordinator and other persons who have made this event happen. That they have given me the opportunity to interact with the galaxy of intellectuals in this session. This is my privilege, and it is always a proud privilege for a teacher when one see different kind of persons who are going to listen to them. So it's but as we all are teachers here, so the interaction, the you can say बातें बहुत important हो जाती हैं. So this is basically, I'm not going to speak more on this topic, and I will be more it is my wish that we should have interaction in this session, because the things are mostly the overlapping. So I will not take the topic in detail, but I will surely touch upon those topics, and whatever the suggestions, queries, or any kind of doubts you have, then we will have sufficient time for the discussion also. So what sustainable development goals are? I have just listened the introductory part of that, and the resource person has very aptly described about the sustainable development goals there also. So I will start with the saying that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, and we borrow it from our children. This is a proverb. So this proverb captures the very essence of the SDG. Sustainable development is not about the next election cycle or the next quarter's profit, but about ensuring that future generations inherit a world that is healthier, fairer, and more prosperous than the one we live in today. So this basically is what sustainable development is. जो आज हमारे पास है, इससे बेहतर हमने environment, इससे बेहतर हमने planet उनको देके जाना है हमारी generations को. So this is the responsibility of this generation, that they should try to work on those areas in which they make the environment more beautiful, more healthier, more fairer, and of course they are more prosperous also. So this is basically the you can say the essence of the sustainable development goals, that we should not try to destroy our resources to that extent that they are totally eliminated. So we can use the resources, but those resources should be used in a way that they are made available for our coming generations also. It is not the case that we have to take care of only of 10 years or 20 years. For the generations to come, the planet should be livable, and that what we have borrowed from our ancestors also. And many things you know that many living beings, even many resources, they have been extinct from the earth, and we are not able to now because we are not able to see, or we are not able to experience those things in this generation. So जो गलती उनसे हुई है, whatever the mistake our ancestors have done, it should not be repeated by ourselves. So we have to behave more responsibly, and this is what the essence of sustainability is. So this is going to be the agenda of my presentation. I will start with the introduction, then understanding what SDGs are. Then I will touch upon the Millennium Development Goals also, because these are not now in force. Then some of the achievements and limitations of MDGs. Then about the conference of 2012, and then from MDGs to how to we have moved from to SDGs. Adoption of SDGs in 2015, then structure and universality of the SDGs. It will be an overview. Then 3 pillars of SDGs. Then overview of the 17 SDGs. Implementations, global and local progress reports I will talk about. And finally, the conclusion. Regarding the brief introduction to SDGs. So it was adopted in September, and 25th September is the date, I suppose. And we are into September only. So this month becomes all the more very important for us. It was adopted on 25th September 2015 at the UN General Assembly, and it was signed by the 193 countries that are present at that time. And it includes 17 goals, 169 targets were there, because goals are broader, and to achieve those goals, targets were set. And overall 169 targets are there, and 232 measurable indicators we have on which we can measure these targets. Because to measure the targets, to see that whether we have achieved those targets or not, that is in itself, that measurement in itself is a very you can say complex process, and for this we have many indicators which were highlighted at that time, and the timeline is up to 2030. The SDGs were adopted in September 2015 during the United Nations Sustainable Development Summit in New York as a part of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. What makes this framework remarkable is its 17 goals. 169 specific targets and 232 indicators to measure the progress. So every country, whether developed or developing, has committed to this agenda. Unlike previous global agreements to the SDGs, they have a fixed timeline to be achieved by 2030. That gives us 7 years left to now only we have to 5 years that are left for us to act upon. So basically, this was the what was amicably decided there, that there should be some goals. These goals, otherwise these are not the legal bindings. The countries, they are not forced to, but yes, if they are working on, then it is going to be make those countries recognized about those targets. So why SDGs are important? It is basically these SDGs, they are carrying the holistic approach where people, planet, prosperity, peace, partnership, everything is included. And it addresses global interlinked challenges. So interlinkage is integrated है, हर country दूसरे पे dependent है, हर goal दूसरे पे dependent है, and whatever is going to be achieved, and the beneficiaries will be whole of the world, not only the one country. So it is applied, it is universal in nature because it is applied to all the countries, rich or poor. Every country is going to participate in these sustainable development goals. And so every country who have signed this, they are a part of this, and mostly every country has now become the part of these sustainable development goals, and every country is working upon to achieve those targets, and the targets have been met by many countries, and they are working extremely well. And the things are, we can say, we are achieving, in many goals, we are very near to achieve those targets. So the importance of SDGs lie in their holistic nature. They cover 5 broad pillars, often summarized as 5 Ps, we call it. 5 Ps, these 5 Ps are people, very important, then planet, then prosperity, peace, and partnerships. Partnerships are very, very important, and partnerships, no country can work in isolation for achieving those targets, and for this, they whatever the partnerships are required, the countries are going to support each other. So collaborations, partnerships, it is an important part of the SDGs. So like poverty, gender inequality, climate change, and economic growth are not isolated issues. So it is not the case that if one country is improving the environment, it is not going to affect the other countries. All the countries are going to be affected. That's why interdependency, interconnectedness and integration is a core concept in this. They influence and reinforce each other. This is why the SDGs are universal. So that's why we call it universal goals. They apply to the United States as much as they apply to India or Africa. Every nation has a responsibility to contribute. So every nation, there is a target, there is a goal for every country, every nation, that they have to achieve this. And even if they are not able to achieve the 17 goals, even 5 or 6 or 10, 12, any number they should strive to achieve. At least if they are not achieving 100% out of that, they must try to achieve 40%, 50%, 80% out of those targets. So that is very important. They should start working on it. उस पे काम करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसको अचीव करना उतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं, लेकिन yes, it is very important to start working on those goals. That is more important. Otherwise, it's not a legal binding. The countries are free to take any kind of like they don't want, or they don't have that type of resources to work, then even the mobilization of resources or the support from other countries can be there. So if we talk about the histories of sustainable development goals, so the post World War, after World War II, creation of United Nations in 1945 for peace and development, we all know that it was there that United Nations were formed so that the countries, they should collectively work on the issues, because destruction of World War One and the World War Two was drastic, and those destructions needs to be plugged out. The economies of many countries they were into doldrums. So it focuses on human rights, economic growth, poverty reduction. This is the main focus, and early global cooperation shaped the foundation of sustainable development goals. So the cooperation, global cooperation, which was started after the World War II, that play a very important role in the foundation of sustainable development goals. So after World War II, nations realized the urgent need for collective action. The UN, founded in 1945, became the main body to promote peace, human rights, and global development. The idea of shared responsibility for tackling poverty, inequality, and development challenges began here, laying the groundwork for later international agreements like the SDGs. So those foundations, they play very important role. ये बहुत important होता है किसी भी issue के लिए. The people are coming together and they are on one platform to discuss those things. लेकिन जब तक discussions नहीं होगी, then nothing fruitful can be achieved. So United Nations has played a tremendous role in this sustainable development goals, because it was the platform which is used now for the countries to come together and discuss many global issues with regard to the human rights, economic growth, and poverty reduction. And for that, with the consensus, they have developed these goals. So earlier was the Millennium Development Goals that were launched in 2000, and it focused on 8 goals basically. The target year was 2015, and the priorities were the poverty reduction, universal primary education, maternal and child health, HIV and AIDS, gender equality, etc. These were the priorities for Millennium Development Goals, and these goals were only extended, and it was then 17 goals out of these they are been extracted. So it was the first global blueprint for measurable targets. So targets, unless and until they are measurable, we cannot plug the variations out of that. So it is very important that we are able to measure those targets, and it has started in from MDGs only. So the Millennium Development Goals marked the first time the world had a unified measurable framework for development. Though limited to 8 goals, the MDGs achieved significant progress, especially in reducing extreme poverty. As the Millennium Development Goals, they were the failure. We have achieved significantly in those Millennium Development Goals also, and they worked really well in eliminating the poverty. Extreme poverty has been eliminated, and improving school enrollment, especially the primary education. However, gaps remained in inequality. आपको पता ही है, we are 100% achievement कई बार possible नहीं होती, और many times जो gap रह जाते हैं, they becomes the reason for having another development plans. So those gaps remained in inequality, sustainability, and inclusiveness, which led to the demand for a broader agenda. There, the countries, they were not mostly they were not collaborating, and they were not supporting each other up to that extent which was needed to achieve those goals. For this, it was then realized that the partnerships are very important, and the countries, they should try to cooperate with each other, and they should try to give them every kind of support, and even financial or advisory that make the things happen. So there are some successes of MDGs were also, and there were limitations also. So if we analyze the successes, the extreme poverty that was halved since 1990, we are able to achieve this. The major progress in primary education and access to clean water was the major success of MDGs. The limitations was it was narrow scope, it ignored climate, inequality, peace, etc. And it was basically top-down approach that is less inclusive. The developed countries were dictating what the other countries has to do. So that was for the reason that was less inclusive, and every country was not included in this. So this resulted into the uneven progress across regions. So uneven progress happened. The equality and climate, these aspects were totally, we were not able to work well on these issues. While the MDGs delivered measurable gains, they faced criticisms for being too narrow and leaving out critical global challenges like climate change and inequality. So many countries, they felt excluded in the process of goal setting. So these shortcomings inspired the UN to create more inclusive, universal and comprehensive framework, and it resulted into the SDGs. So many countries, they were feeling that they are not part of this, and they other countries, they are not supporting them. So that's why inequality it increased, and they ignored these kind of concepts, and that was what was realized during the meeting for SDGs. So the platform for SDGs, it was started in the Rio conference in 2012. It was a global summit in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and the key outcomes was agreement to develop sustainable development goals. There they agreed to develop sustainable development goals, and they emphasized balanced economic growth, social inclusion, and environment protection. And the agenda was setting a moment that they should try to work on these goals, and these goals, and every country should try to contribute what kind of goals should be there. So deliberations on these issues, it was started in 2012. So the Earth Summit in 2012 was a turning point. Leaders from 190 plus countries, they recognized that development must be sustainable, addressing not just poverty, but also climate change, biodiversity, and social equity. So this summit laid the foundation for SDGs by emphasizing the balance of economy, environment, and society. So this summit laid the foundation for SDGs. So from MDGs to SDGs, if you talk MDGs 2000 to 2050, 8 goals were there, focused mainly on poverty, health, and education. The achievements were they halved the extreme poverty, reduced child mortality, improved maternal health, but the limitations were it was narrow scope. They focused less on environment, inequality, and governance. And SDG, which started from 2015 to 2030, it expanded to 17 goals with broader inclusivity. The motto is leave no one behind. So basically, the motto of SDG is no one, no country, no community, not region, no region has to be left, and everyone has to be included in this, so that overall the quality of environment, quality of resources there that are going to be made for sustainability. So the UN summit September 2015 in New York that adopted the SDGs. 193 member states, they adopted the 2030 agenda, 17 sustainable goals with 169 targets. As I talked earlier also, that were finalized in this, and every country agreed upon those 17 goals. And these goals are universal, integrated, and transformative framework. Transformation is very important, that whatever we are now, some changes should be apparent, and those changes, they are they're going to contribute to these SDGs. In 2015, all UN member states unanimously adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This was historic. 17 goals, 169 targets, and 232 measurable indicators. Unlike MDGs, the SDGs apply to all countries, developed and developing, and seek a holistic approach to end poverty, fight inequality, and protect the planet. So, unless that it is for every country is going to be included in this. So, structure of SDG. As I talked earlier, 17 goals, broad global directives, 169 targets, specific, measurable, and those are the measurable commitments which every country is going to promise. Then 232 indicators were there. Are there? These are the tools to track the progress, and the core principle is universal integration and leave no one behind. Everyone has to be included in this. So the Sustainable Development Goals are not just 17 broad statements. They were supported by 169 specific targets that break each goal into actionable commitments. So 17 goals are there. Those 17 goals are then further classified into the 169 targets, and every country has to work upon those targets, and these targets are measurable. We can see that how much we have achieved on those targets. And to measure progress, 232 global agreed indicators are used, and these indicators are going to help that how much we are able to achieve the specific targets. So SDGs are built on key principles. They apply universally to all countries. They emphasize integration of social, economic, and environmental aspects, and they stress leaving no one behind, ensuring the most vulnerable are prioritized. So they ensured that जो बहुत ज्यादा खतरे में है उनकी प्रायोरिटी ज्यादा पहले होनी चाहिए. So they prioritize which is more vulnerable and which are going to affect a larger countries. Those things are going to be prioritized. Those targets has to be achieved first. So with regard to universality of the SDGs, it applied to all countries, developed and developing. Shared global responsibility is there. National adaptation into policies. So the policies are going to be framed at the country level also. So unlike the Millennium Development Goals, which mainly focused on developing nations, SDGs are universal. It means developed and developing, both the countries are going to be included in this. This means every nation, be it the US, India, or a small island state, have a responsibility to achieve them. So every country is going to be included. Each country adapts the SDG framework into national development plans. For example, India integrates SDGs into Niti Aayog's policy framework. So broader framework is there for every country, and every country has the responsibility to make their own policies, own kind of development plans, so that they are able to achieve those broader targets. With respect to integration of SDGs, goals are interlinked. एक गोल अगर हम अचीव करेंगे तो दूसरा गोल भी उस पर डिपेंड करेगा, तीसरा गोल भी काफी उस पर इंप्रूवमेंट्स होंगी, right? So those goals are interlinked, and progress in one affects others. Whatever going to be done in one area, it is going to also affect the other areas of SDGs also. For example, education, SDG 4 is going to contribute to gender equality also, SDG 5. And SDG, if gender equality is there, then it is also going to contribute to the decent work, that is the Sustainable Development Goal 8. So likewise, these there is integration of SDGs. Every goal is going to be dependent on other also. So whatever we are doing in one area, it is also going to be affect the other areas. So SDGs are designed as an integrated system. You cannot achieve one goal in isolation. For instance, improving education leads to better gender equality outcomes, which then enhances decent work opportunities. So this interconnectedness ensures development is holistic and avoids fragmented policy making. So this is a feature of SDGs, that it is integrated, and we are working on one goal, the other goals, some progress in other goals are also going to be made. So these are the three pillars of SDGs: economic sustainability, social sustainability, and the environmental sustainability. And the balance of all three is the sustainable development. So all the three aspects, they are going to contribute to sustainable development. So SDGs result on three interdependent pillars: economic, social, and environmental sustainability. So these are not standalone, but mutually reinforcing. So these are not, this is not the case that only these goals are there in isolation. They are going to be dependent on each other. For example, economic growth without environmental protection is unsustainable, and environmental conservation without social inclusion fails to address human development. So together they form the holistic vision of sustainable development. So this is the reason that why these three pillars were chosen, that economic, social, and environmental aspects, they are interrelated with each other, and working on one is going to contribute to other also. And if we are ignoring one aspect, then we will not be able to contribute to sustainable development. So no pillar is going to be ignored. Every pillar is important for achieving sustainable development. So economic sustainability, pillar one, it focuses on growth, jobs, innovation. And for this, if we talk, we have the SDG 8, decent work; SDG 9, industry and innovation; SDG 12, the responsive consumption. They are going to they contribute to the first pillar, that is economic sustainability. So the goal is to have an inclusive and resilient economies. Those economies which are dependent and which are going to include every aspect of that of the economy. So economic sustainability emphasizes creating long-term economic growth that benefits all. All means every part of the society is going to be is a beneficial of this. It's not just about GDP growth, but about generating decent work, fostering entrepreneurship, and promoting innovation. For instance, SDG 8 directly addresses decent work and economic growth. Similarly, SDG 9 pushes for innovation and infrastructure development. The aim is to build economies that are resilient, inclusive, and capable of supporting future generations. The purpose for this is that they should try to have those kind of economies which are resilient, inclusive, and they have the capability of supporting future generations. So it is not the case that we are just focusing on GDP. अकेले जीडीपी पे फोकस करके या जीडीपी बढ़ा के हम इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ अचीव नहीं कर सकते. We should try to work on decent work conditions also. Then we should try to work on infrastructure development also, innovation, industry, that is important. So every aspect of the economy is important, and accordingly inclusivity of all the economic factors are there. Then with regard to social sustainability, it focuses on human well-being, equity, and justice. And for this, SDG 1, no poverty; SDG 3, with regard to the health; SDG 4, with regard to education; SDG 5, with regard to gender equality; SDG 10, that focuses on reduced inequalities. They all are interlinked and they contribute to the social sustainability. The social sustainability ensures that societies are inclusive, equitable, and just. It covers basic human needs like health, education, gender equality, and social protection. So social sustainability is very, very important. Unless in society the living conditions, the working conditions are not satisfactory, the goal cannot be achieved. So for example, SDG 3 that focuses on health for all, and SDG 4 ensures education. So health, अगर health अच्छी है, education अच्छी है, तो society का upliftment अपने आप obvious होती है, अपने apparent होती है. So the social pillar pushes government and institutions to create systems where no group is disadvantaged, promoting fairness and justice for all. No group in the society has to be left, and every group has to be included in the development. That is very, very important. Only then we can achieve social sustainability. कोई discrimination नहीं होनी चाहिए with respect to gender, with respect to caste, with respect to region, with respect to creed, with respect to ethnicity. There should be no discrimination. Everyone has to be included, and they have to be given the fair chance. And with regard to environmental sustainability, it focuses on climate, biodiversity, and natural resources. And the SDG links for this is SDG 6, clean water, SDG 7, clean energy, SDG 13, climate action, SDG 14, life below water, SDG 15, life on land. So all these are going to protect the planet for future generations. That is very important. So these in detail may have been talked by the earlier resource person also. So I'm going to just establish the link how these goals are interlinked and they are contributing to the sustainability. So the environment pillar is central to sustainability. It emphasizes protecting ecosystems, conserving natural resources, and tackling climate change. That is very important. For instance, SDG 13 addresses climate change action, while SDG 14 and 15 focuses on marine and terrestrial ecosystems. Without environment protection, economic and social achievements risk being short-lived. So this is very important, that environmental aspect cannot be ignored in any kind of economic growth or social issues. So this is the overview of 17 SDGs. Goal 1 is no poverty. Goal 2 is zero hunger. Goal 3, good health and well-being. Goal 4 is quality education. Goal 5 is gender equality. Goal 6 is clean water and sanitation. Goal 7 is affordable and clean energy. Goal 8 is decent work and economic growth. Goal 9 is with regard to industry, innovation and infrastructure. Goal 10 is with regard to reduced inequalities. Goal 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Goal 12 is responsible consumption and production. Goal 13 is with regard to climate action. Goal 14, life below water. Goal 15, life on land. Goal 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. Then Goal 17 is partnership for the goals. So that's why, as I have talked earlier, partnerships that are very, very important. So all this is a list of 17 SDGs. One by one, we are going to talk upon on these SDGs. So SDG 1 is no poverty. So the aim is to end poverty in all its forms, everywhere, in all its form, everywhere, ensuring that no individual is deprived of basic human needs such as food, shelter, education, and healthcare. So basic human needs that needs to be that should be satisfied. So it is the foundation for achieving other sustainable development goals, because poverty reduction directly impacts health, education, gender equality, and overall economic growth. That is why it is at number 1. So if we are able to reduce the poverty, we are able to eliminate poverty, then it is also going to impact the health, education, gender equality, and overall economic growth. So the key targets are, by 2030, eradicate extreme poverty. Extreme poverty is defined as the people living or less than $2.15 per day. This is according to World Bank update. So the aim, this aim is to ensure that no one in the world remains in conditions where survival itself is a challenge. Then reduce overall poverty by at least half. Beyond extreme poverty, the goal is to reduce by half the proportion of men, women, and children living in poverty conditions to national definitions. So national definitions for poverty can also be there, and those if you follow those national definitions, then we have to the goal is to reduce by half. Then implement social protection systems, expand universal access to social safety nets like pensions, health insurance, unemployment benefits, cash transfers for the poor and vulnerable. And these systems cushion individuals from shocks such as job loss, illness, or old age. So from these shocks, the individual can be preserved. They can be saved from these kind of shocks. Then ensure equal access to resources and opportunities, equal rights to economic resources, access to basic services, land ownership, property, technology, and financial services. Equal rights should be there. Then build resilience to shocks, strengthen the resilience of poor and vulnerable populations against climate-related disasters, pandemics, and economic fluctuations. So this includes disaster risk reduction policies, emergency aid, and sustainable infrastructure. So these are the key targets for goal 1. Like then SDG 2, zero hunger. The aim is to end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. So it addresses both the immediate issue of hunger and the long-term need for sustainable food systems. So the key targets are by 2030, end hunger and ensure year-round access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. So everyone, especially poor and vulnerable groups, should have adequate food for a healthy life. Then end all forms of malnutrition. Focus on children under 5, adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and other older people, and reduce stunning wasting and micronutrient deficiency. So that is important target also with regard to SDG 2. Then double agricultural productivity and income of small-scale food producers, particularly women, indigenous people, and family farmers. Provide access to land, resource, knowledge, financial services, and markets. So it is the responsibility that they should have access to these things also, so that the small-scale food producers and agriculture productivity is going to double. Ensure sustainable food production system. Implement resilient agriculture practice that adapt to climate change, extreme weather, drought, floods, and pests. Conserve ecosystems and biodiversity. That is going to contribute to sustainable food production systems. Then reduce food waste and food loss. Cut down wastage during production, supply chains, retail, and consumer levels. Then improve access to global food markets. Ensure fair trade practices and policies, and remove restrictions that disadvantage developing countries. So fair movement of food products should be there, so that कहीं भी जो developing countries है वो disadvantaged condition में ना रहे, and there they should have sufficient markets for their produce. SDG 3 is with regard to good health and well-being, and the aim is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. For all and for all ages, they should have a healthy life. And it covers maternal and child health, infectious and non-communicable diseases, healthcare access, and global health emergencies. And the key targets are end preventable child deaths, reduce under 5 mortality to at least 25 per 1,000 live births, and epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and neglected tropical diseases. Reduce premature deaths from NCDs by 1/3 through prevention and treatment. Then achieve universal health coverage, access to essential healthcare and affordable medicines. Strengthen health systems to handle pandemics and emergencies. Reduce deaths from road traffic accidents and substance abuse. So These are the main targets with regard to good health and well-being. Good health बहुत important है ताकि हमारी जो लिविंग कंडीशन है, जब तक वो कह रहे हैं ना, जब तक हम जी रहे हैं तो तंदुरुस्ती एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड एवरी work has to be focused on good health, and that's why good health is going to be at number 3. So these, if you see, more or less these goals are according to the priority also. Then SDG, अगर good health है तो quality education भी हम उनको दे सकते हैं. So SDG 4 is with regard to quality education. The aim is to ensure inclusive, equitable and quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So inclusive, equitable सभी के लिए and quality education, that is that are more important aspects in quality education. Education is the foundation for sustainable development. Without other SDGs cannot be, without it other SDGs cannot be achieved. So quality education is very important. अगर ज्ञान नहीं है तो हम कुछ उसको उस पे काम भी नहीं कर सकते. So that is very important. So the key targets are universal primary and secondary education. Of course, higher education is also in it. Ensure free, equitable, quality primary and secondary for all children. Early childhood development, access to quality early childhood care and pre-primary education. Equal access to technical and higher education also. Affordable access to vocational training, university and lifelong learning. Eliminate disparities in education if they are. Equal access regardless of gender, disability, poverty, ethnicity और geography. Equal access for all. ये नहीं है कोई tough terrains में रहता है उनके पास वो access नहीं है, उनके पास भी वो चीजें होनी चाहिए, available होनी चाहिए वो resources education के लिए. Then relevant skills for work. Ensure learners acquire skills for decent jobs, entrepreneurship and innovation, literacy and numeracy. Achieve universal youth literacy and numeracy. Education for sustainable development. Promote knowledge of sustainability, human rights, gender equality, and global citizenship. Safe and inclusive schools should be there. Then build on safe, non-violent, disability-friendly, gender-sensitive school environments. That is important. That's why for disabled, for we call it special children also, many kind of education system has been started even by the government of India also. So SDG 5 is with respect to gender equality, and the aim is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Ensure women and girls have equal rights, opportunities, and freedom from discrimination or violence. So end discrimination, eliminate all forms of gender-based discrimination everywhere, and violence, eradicate all forms of violence, exploitation, and trafficking among women and girls, and harmful practices, stop child marriage, forced marriage, and female genital mutilations. Then equal participation in leadership, ensure full and effective participation of women in decision making, in political, economic, and public life. Then equal rights to resources, give women equal rights to land, property, inheritance, technology, and financial services. Unpaid care work recognition, value and redistribute household and care responsibilities between men and women. Access to health and reproductive rights. Ensure women's universal access to sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights. Then use of technology for equality. Enhance women's empowerment through ICT, internet access, and digital literacy. So these are the key targets with respect to gender equality. And if we are working on these targets, then we are sure to achieve the gender equality to the larger extent. Next is with respect to clean water and sanitation. The aim is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all by 2030. And safe drinking water, proper toilets, and hygiene are considered basic human rights. So the key targets are universal access to water, safe water, ensure safe and affordable drinking water for all, universal sanitation and hygiene, access to toilets, hand washing facilities, and menstrual hygiene management, improve water quality, reduce pollution, minimize chemicals and waste, and increase wastewater treatments, efficient water use, improve water use efficiency in agriculture, industry, and even households, integrated water management, manage water resources sustainably at national and local levels, protect water ecosystems, safeguard rivers, wetlands, forests, and groundwater resources, international cooperation, supporting developing countries with the technology, finance, and capacity building for water and sanitation. So, as I talked earlier, also international cooperation is partnerships. It's though it is the 17th goal, but it is going to play a role in for achieving every sustainable development goal. So SDG 7 with regard to affordable and clean energy to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all by 2030. Energy is the backbone of economic growth, development and daily life. So clean energy is very, very important, and because it is going to contribute to every aspect of individual. So the key targets are universal energy for access, provide electricity, clean cooking solutions for all, more solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal power in the energy mix, because these are renewable energy and it should be used as much as possible. Then improve energy efficiency, double the rate of energy efficiency improvement. For example, LED lighting, efficient appliances, smart grids, etc., which increases the energy efficiency. Promote clean cooking fuels, shift households from wood or coal to LPG, electricity or biogas. International cooperation again is important. Support developing nations with investment, technology transfer, and clean energy clean energy finance. Expand infrastructure, build sustainable power plants, grids, and storage systems. With regard to SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, achieve full and productive employment, and ensure decent work for all. The idea is not just any job, but jobs that provide fair income, safety, rights, and dignity. So it is not that any kind of job are to be generated. Those jobs should have fair income. Those jobs should have fair safety also, rights also, and dignity. So the key targets in this is sustained per capita growth, especially in least developed countries, full and productive employment, work for all women, men, youth, and persons with disabilities, decent work conditions, safe workplaces, fair wages, and protection of labor rights, and forced labor and child labor, eradicate modern slavery, human trafficking, and child exploitation, support small and medium enterprises, SMEs, for entrepreneurship and innovation, green jobs and sustainable growth, encourage industries that are energy efficient, eco-friendly, and inclusive, protect workers' right, ensure migrant workers, women, and vulnerable groups, they are treated fairly and equally. With regard to SDG 9, that relates to industry, innovation, and infrastructure, the aim is to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. The idea is without strong infrastructure and innovation, economic growth and human well-being cannot be sustained. So that strong infrastructure should be sustainable, and infrastructure is going to contribute, and infrastructure and innovation, they are going to contribute to economic growth and human well-being. So sustainable infrastructure like affordable and equitable access for all, transport, electricity, ICTs, inclusive industrialization, raise industry share in GDP, especially in least developed countries where industrialization is not there. Those industries should be set in those areas. Research and development, increase innovation, patent filings, and technology development. Access to financial services, especially for small industries and entrepreneurs. Environmentally sustainable industries, promote clean technologies, green factories, and circular economy. Global cooperation is again needed, strengthen technology transfer and support to developing nations. So with respect to SDG 10, that is reduced inequalities, the aim is to reduce inequality in income, opportunities, and access within countries and between nations. Within countries also and between the nations, this inequality has to be reduced. Focus is no one should be left behind in the path of development. Everyone has to be included in this. So the key targets are the sustained income and bottom 40% of the population at a rate higher than the national average. So income growth of those 40% of the population should be higher. Equal opportunities, ensure social, economic, and political inclusion of all, regardless of age, sex, disability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, or economic status. Eliminate discrimination, reduce discriminatory laws, policies, and practices to promote equal rights. Fiscal and social protection policies, adopt policies, taxation, wages, social protection that progressively achieve greater equality. With regard to financial inclusion, improve regulation and monitoring of global financial markets and institutions, ensure developing countries have a stronger voice in decision making. For example, IMF, WTO, and UN, it is to ensure that developing and poor countries, they have also strong voice. Safe migration and mobility, facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsive migration and mobility of people. Official development assistance, encourage ODA, foreign direct investment and technology transfer to developing countries, especially least developed ones. Special treatment for developing countries, implement principles of special and differential treatment for developing and least developed countries in global trade. So these are some of the important key targets for to reduce inequalities. SDG 11 is with respect to sustainable cities and communities. So make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So the key targets are affordable housing, ensure access to safe and affordable housing, upgrade slums. Then with regard to urban planning, strengthen inclusivity, participate in urban planning, protect world's heritage sites from urbanization threats. That is very important, protection of the cultural and natural heritage. Then for disaster resilience, reduce deaths, economic losses that are caused by natural disasters in cities. And with regard to pollution reduction, improve air quality and waste management in urban areas. Green spaces, provide universal access to safe green public spaces. Then sustainable urbanization support, assist the developing countries in sustainable resilient city planning. So those developing countries need to be supported in all manners to develop sustainable cities and communities. Then with regard to responsible consumption and production, ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns, use natural resources efficiently, cut food waste by half by 2030. Corporate responsibility is to encourage companies to adopt sustainable practices and reporting, raise awareness and promote responsible consumption, and the government to lead by example in this, so that sustainable public procurement is there, and hazardous waste management is to reduce chemical release and promote recycling. SDG 13 is with regard to climate action, take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts, integrate climate action into policies. Countries should adopt climate resilient policies and strategies, strengthen ability to respond to climate related hazards and disasters. For this, the support of Paris Agreement, that is limit warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, that is there. The global agreements has to be there. With regard to life below water, SDG 14, conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development, reduce marine pollution, prevent plastics, chemicals, and waste from entering the oceans, conserve at least 10% of coastal and marine areas by 2025, regulate fishing, support small fisheries, ocean research and technology is important, and implement of UN clause. It means strengthen global law of the sea, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. SDG 15 is with regard to life on land, protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage for forests, combat desertification, halt and reverse land degradation, and stop biodiversity loss with respect to life on land, stop deforestation and restore forest, protect diversity, biodiversity, and poaching and illegal wildlife trade, share benefits from genetic resources, fair use of biodiversity benefits that should be there. Then 16 is with respect to peace, justice, and strong institutions. It is to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. And the important targets with respect to this is to reduce violence, rule of law, and equal access to justice, fight corruption and bribery, build strong institutions, protect rights and freedoms, participatory governance at global level should be there, legal identity for all, and access to information. So the last target in this is partnership for the goals, to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. The target is to financial mobilization, technology transfer, capacity building, trade, systematic issues, multi-stakeholder partnerships, data monitoring and accountability. So implementation of this is all about the 17 sustainable development goals, and these are the role of various UN agencies, UNDP, UNEP, the partnerships, governments plus NGOs plus private sector, then financing, domestic and international funding. They are going to help us to achieve these targets. So with respect to India's approach, we have the NITI Aayog, that is central coordinating body, national indicator framework, NIF for SDGs we have already made. State SDG cells are there, plus district level monitoring is going to make the things happen at the grassroots level also. Then integration with schemes like Swachh Bharat, Ayushman Bharat, Skill India, Digital India, these all schemes are with respect to the SDGs. So India has localized SDG implementation through NITI Aayog, which acts as the nodal agency. It created the national indicator framework to track progress across 17 goals. States have their own SDG cells and monitoring dashboards. Major schemes like Swachh Bharat, Ayushman Bharat for healthcare, Skill India with regard to employment, and Digital India with respect to innovation are directly aligned with the SDGs. So monitoring and reporting of SDGs at all at global level, we have the UN high level political forum, which is going to track these, monitor these. The monitoring is done globally by the UN high level political forum, whereas countries submit voluntarily national reviews showcasing their progress. A set of 232 global indicators measure achievements across all goals. Data is collected using sensors, national surveys, big data, and even satellite monitoring. This ensures transparency and accountability. So India's reporting mechanism also, in India, NITI Aayog publishes the SDG India Index, which ranks states and union territories based on their progress. This competitive ranking based system encourages states to improve their performance. For example, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu consistently perform well in health, education, and social development indicators. So such monitoring issues ensures accountability and helps identify areas needing urgent action. So this is the concluding slide. SDGs, these are the universal blueprint for peace, prosperity, and sustainability. Progress achieved, but challenges remain. Inequality, climate change, funding gaps, these are still the biggest challenges. And success depends on collaborations, governments, business, civil society, and individuals. The guiding principle, again, I'm reiterating, that is leave no one behind, everyone is to be included. So the sustainable development goals are not just global targets, they are the universal blueprint for a better world, and the real progress in areas like poverty reduction, healthcare, and education. Serious challenges still remain in growing inequalities, worsening climate change, and financing gaps. So success of the SDGs require both joint action, and ultimately the SDGs represent not just development targets but a shared moral responsibility. That is, it upholds the principle leave no one behind. So thank you for your patience hearing. Now this platform is open for any kind of queries.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you
So
very
more
much.
or
You have
less,
explained the background.
so more or less the things may be repetitive because I haven't listened to the earlier session fully. But from where the resource person has started, I thought that the things will be mostly overlapping, because he is also
Actually,
going to talk about the sustainable development goals. But of course, maybe there can be the differentiation with respect to the treatment. The same treatment is not uh, by all the resource.
definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. He actually treated the entire topic in a very different way, and you have explained the background of SDGs, and you have done it in detail. And I think some of these things are to be learned by our participants, and many of your points could appear in the test tomorrow because your topic was much like that. So, at the same time, I request all the participants to ask questions if you have any.
Ma'am, I have a question. Sir, I actually have two questions.
जी जी
First, I would like to ask, sir, जो हम बात करते हैं ट्रिपल बॉटम लाइन रिपोर्टिंग की, तो
जी
does it align with the corporate goals of SDGs in some way?
Yes, yes, of course, and that is very important because aspect, because this is not. That's why the CSR and environmental reporting and green finance, green procurement, green. This is directly related with the corporates, and they are like mentioning that in their balance sheets and account statements also.
Yes, sir. And the second question is, sir, is there any metrics as such, like in India, as you have rightly said, ki Niti Aayog has given a criteria to measure the index which is given,
Yes,
right? At the international level, when the comparison is made between countries, as much as I know, I think there is a review which is done, right?
right.
So, is there some criteria on the basis of which, or some matrix which is used for
Exactly.
calculating?
Exactly on these 232 targets, na, 232 variable indicators. Every country is every country sharing the information with the United Nations, and United Nations compile that information, and accordingly the countries are ranked. That which country has achieved is at which place in with regard to this goal.
So,
So
do
those
they take
indicators
into
play a very important role.
consideration, because the economic environment, obviously, all kinds of environment, business, economic, social, all kinds of environments are different. So, they take into consideration different countries' environments as well, or is it the
Bilkul.
same?
Exactly. Their natural environment is also going to take into consideration the resources they have, how they are utilizing those resources. For example, in Punjab, the main resources are groundwaters or the river waters. Then how sustainably we are making use of these resources, that also going to give a score with regard to those indicators.
Okay, okay. Thank you so
Similarly,
much, sir.
many countries they don't have agricultural land, that they don't have fertile agricultural lands. So what kind of resources? For example, they have the minerals in abundance. So how they are using those minerals, how they are exploring the minerals, how they are uh, uh, optimally using those minerals, and how they are transporting it, how they are trading on it. All the things are going to be considered.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Participants, can we have a group photograph also? Please switch on your videos. Harpreet sir, could you please help in this regard? Mr. Arvind, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Harpreet
We
sir?
Arvind will be taking the screenshots.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, any other question by any other participant? Do we have any other question, or should we wind up?
Good evening, all. Good evening. Good evening, all present.
Good evening.
There is there is not a question. It's just a feedback, sir. Very well explained, sir. We have been uh, teaching these SDG goals to our students also, but very well explained on these 17 points. And we are looking forward for your further sessions also, sir, in the upcoming
Thank you so much.
FDPs.
Because of short of time, I have not elaborated these goals to the level I wanted to explain. I wanted to interact with you people on those goals, but time limitation has to be taken into consideration. And I, of course, wanted some time for the discussions also. So otherwise, अगर हम एक एक goal पे बात करें, तो we can have full-fledged lectures on one and goals. So it means every goal it is very comprehensive. And many information with regard to these goals, they are not shared by many sources. So those to compile those information and to share this, that becomes in itself a long session. So I will try to work.
Okay,
if
sir.
got a chance, we will have discussions on these kind of topics at any point. So my even
Yes,
my
sir.
my
Great, sir.
students,
And sir,
my students, my two of students, they have worked on these sustainable development goals. My one thesis has been produced on electronic waste, that is directly related to with this, and one is one PhD is on green financing, and another one, my PhD is on like how the environmental management systems are going to work to reduce the pollution. And one another is working on electronic human source management also. So these are the areas from which we can take one target only and one goal only, and we start working and doing research with respect to our own, as the participant has talked, with respect to our own region, with respect to our own country, with respect to our own even the resources we have. So we can talk about this. And then another is sustainable agriculture marketing. I have worked with, and those the suggestions which I have derived from those that research, that is being recognized even at the state level and central level.
Okay, sir. Nice, sir. Okay, sir. Happy
Okay,
Teacher Day.
So it's a duty also as a teacher also that identify any of the goal which fascinate to you, and you have the resources to work on those goals and start working on this, and realize that what kind of progress we have made, because the research done by the teachers, that is true to its sense, because the honesty, integrity and transparency is very well indicative in the research done by the teachers. So it's our responsibility also, so that we can give true picture to the government. So government is not manipulating the data, and they are having the true figures, true facts with them.
Okay, thank you, sir, for satisfying all the participants' queries. Any other question from the participant side? Sir, may I ask you something? Actually, when I was when I was going through your profile, you are a coordinator of UNESCO-sponsored project for
Yes.
marketing handicrafted utensils. Sir, actually, I was curious about it, and it sounds very interesting.
जी
What is it all about?
आपको अगर किसी कोई अमृतसर या नियर बाय एरिया से है तो उनको पता होगा, हमारे पास थटेरास कहते हैं इनको, थटेरास है ना, और ये देवर मेकिंग द ब्रॉन्ज
Earthen pot.
यूटेंसिल्स है ना। हाँ जी, वो जंडियाला के पास इनको बहुत अच्छा इनका ना अभी भी काम कर रहे हैं काफी। लेकिन दोज जो हैंडीक्राफ्ट, जैसे हम इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के बारे में बात करें, तो दैट दोज वर इंक्लूडेड इन दिस, and I started working on this, and this project was given to me by UNESCO, and the government was playing direct role, that how the marketing, how can we market the products made by them. So all kind of marketing support, and of course how they can have good revenues out of that are suggested by my search on this. And today they are the people, they are proud of their now occupation now, and they are proudly telling, and their utensils are especially for example in Diwali, like the festivals of Diwali, the whatever the utensils they are making, they are being used as a by the government also to give gifts to the other people.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Same question. Thank you, ma'am, Jyotika, for asking the question. And the same thing was running in my mind. I had watched one documentary on this Tatera, I was
जी जी जी
called.
अगर हाँ बिल्कुल अगर आपने देखा होगा तो then you know that what they are facing very difficult situations earlier. बस हाँ इतनी बहुत ज्यादा इम्प्रूवमेंट नहीं हुई होगी what I suppose, but yes the things have been many things have been done now going on smoothly for those people.
Sir, which is the market, or can you share the address or the numbers?
How there are a number of people I can from the data I can give you the numbers also, and or any time if you are visiting Amritsar, just visit Jandiala market before arriving to the city. You have number of the people who are working on those utensils. और अगर हम बात करें इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम में आयुर्वेदा में अब ये इन यूटेंसिल्स की अपने आप बहुत एक वैल्यू है विद रिगार्ड टू हेल्थ आल्सो.
Sir, I mean, this is a self.
ब्रॉन्ज ग्लासेस में पानी पीना है, उसको एक जग में स्टोर करना है, तो वो चीजें अब इनको डायरेक्टली एक लिंकेज इनके साथ जनरेट हो रहा है, हाउ द यूज ऑफ दोज यूटेंसिल्स एंड विद द हेल्थ ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल.
थैंक यू सर. सर इट्स कोई हेल्प ग्रुप्स ने जैसे स्मॉल हेल्प ग्रुप्स हो जाएंगे या केवीके के अंदर या कुछ
ऑलरेडी देयर आर मेनी सेल्फ ग्रुप्स व्हिच आर वर्किंग ऑन दिस.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Sir, one of the participants, Dr. Mamta, is saying that some handicraft is hanging behind you also, sir, right now.
Yes.
Isn't it? Okay, it's looking very nice. Thank you so much, sir, for interacting in such a nice manner.
अगर आप Google करोगे, you can have my you can read my research papers also on various sustainability issues with respect to finance also, marketing also, management also, and the economics also, and you can cite those research papers in for your publications also, and it will give you it will also give you the gap where you can work on those issues.
Definitely. And I would like to add, Madam Jyotika, कि जब मैंने सर को बहुत शॉर्ट नोटिस पे कॉल किया, रिक्वेस्ट की रिसोर्स पर्सन के लिए, तो मैंने बस बोला कि हम ये हमारा टाइटल है और सर हम इस पे करवाना चाहते हैं, तो सर ने बोला एनी टॉपिक, एनी सब टॉपिक, कोई भी आप मेरे को दे दीजिए, तो आई विल बी देयर. एंड आई एम सो थैंकफुल टू यू सर, आई एम सो थैंकफुल टू यू. हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स का बीच में आप मैं देख पा रही हूँ कि बहुत ज्यादा दे आर ट्रू हैप्पी, बहुत ही ज्यादा सेटिस्फाइड है वो आपके लेक्चर से, एंड दे वांट टू सी यू अगेन.
बिल्कुल जी, और कभी अगर आपका लगे तो डू विजिट अमृतसर गुरु नानक देव यूनिवर्सिटी and just give me a call so that we can have discussions and
what is the resource for your research papers?
जी
sir, resources for your research papers, link,
you just Google it, you will find the various references and bibliographies also there. You just Google my name, Dr. Vikram, Sandhu, Guru Nanak Dev University, and you will get the research papers.
मैम सर के गूगल स्कॉलर या रिसर्च किट पे आप नाम डालोगे तो सारे पेपर्स शो हो जाएंगे.
थैंक यू मैम.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, should we wind up, Gagan ma'am?
Thank you so much.
Yes, bilkul.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. You have delivered a very valuable.
Sir is saying something.
Okay, it's time for for many of you also to prepare the dinner and to serve the dinner also.
Yes, definitely. You're right. Like your lecture has been very all-encompassing. And your presentation style is also very simple and also very impressive, sir. And that is why we got connected with you so much. And you have touched upon so many intricacies of sustainable development goals. And you have so very effectively explained all the SDGs, MDGs. And I'm sure the participants must have been benefited by all this explanation. Thank you so much, sir. And now we are extremely thankful to you for all the efforts that you have made in making this presentation and making this day also memorable and successful for us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.